Okay, ladies, I have an amazing guest in the building or on Zoom actually today with you. Now, you may know him or you may not, but you're going to get to know him in such a deeper way by the end of this podcast. Now, his name is Nir Bashan, and from working with Hollywood and music stars like, the big names, Woody Harrelson and Rod Stewart, one of my favorites, Nir has discovered something that may actually shock you. Yes, these creative superstars aren't all that different from you or me. And it's just that they have mastered a method of repeatability and predictable creativity as well. Some big words. A type of creativity that anyone can learn. So we're going to be in for a treat here. And it turns out that the same type of creativity can be used in businesses and careers everywhere. This is so exciting. I cannot wait to learn. And Nia has taught thousands of leaders and individuals from around the globe how to harness the power of creativity to improve profitability. We like that. We love that. Increase sales, boost customer service, and ultimately create more meaning in their work. There's more. Nia has worked with clients such as AT&T, Microsoft, Ace Hardware, NFL Network, EA Sports, Suzuki, Activision, and JetBlue. Nia has spent not just 1 year, not just 2 years, but the last 2 decades working on a formula to codify creativity for businesses. Now, we want to hear more about that one, don't we, ladies? Now, that formula is found in The Creator Mindset, a book which has been translated in not just 1, but 2 languages, and it's released publicly. Yay! You can see a copy if you're watching the video. And it's been released publicly by McGraw Hill Business in August 2020. So yes, I want to welcome you, Nir, to the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on down.
Thanks for having me. This is going to be great.
Yeah, I'm so excited to speak to you. And there's so much things that we can go through, but I'm like, we spoke before, we're just going to kind of limit it to like 3 questions. So
Okay.
the first thing I wanted to ask you, if you could just explain maybe what are soft skills and are they natural or learned, that type of thing.
Yeah. So soft skills are some of the most important things that we don't talk enough about. And I'm so glad that you are putting this podcast together to talk about these exact things that we need more of in the world. We need more of them in society in general, but we especially need more of them at work. And I'm so glad that you're talking about it. Soft skills are, in my opinion, creative skills that come out when we stop thinking with only analytics, but we start to embrace our creativity. I believe that everyone was born creative, and that as we get older, it's society or school or parents or whatever it is, they kind of like, we lose our creative way. And when we lose our creative way, we lose those amazing soft skills like empathy and humor and being able to relate to somebody on a different and more human level. And so for me, developing those soft skills are something that we all kind of carry with us, but we need to learn how to extract them and learn how to make them sort of a marketable asset in what we do. And it's totally possible. It's all about really shifting our perspective and starting to look within us to find what it is that we can use that we already have. It's just stuff that, we were born with to solve particular problems at work. So that's kind of my thing and my take on soft skills.
Nice. It sounds amazing. So it's qualities or skills that we already have, but do they need to be kind of nurtured or trained to improve?
Yeah, definitely. So, I released the book a few months ago. Like you said, it's got 92 different tools in it
Wow.
that are, tools that anybody can use to bring out creativity. And one of the things that creativity tends to bring out is those soft skills. I talk a lot about empathy in the book. Empathy is one of those soft skills that I think we all sort of have, but some of us are better at it and some of us are not as good at it. But what it really is, it's about realizing that as human beings, we were given sort of a bunch of tools, right, to deal with life, right? We had to have empathy because it kept us alive 50, 60, 70,000 years ago. We had to have, courage and humor and all of these other things because they helped us survive. We had to have creativity, or else we wouldn't have figured out, wait a second, I can eat that berry and then, use the water and soak it in the water and it will last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, it's a juice now. And
Yeah.
the juice keeps longer than the berry would have in the first place. And all those amazing creative things have helped us today get to the point where, we're not only alive, but we're thriving. Leighanne, in the old days, you used to, even in, 20, 30, 40,000 years ago, humans were, if you lived to 20, you were like a grandma or grandpa,
Yeah.
right? Even in the 60s, in 1960, the average life expectancy was only 62. And
Wow.
today it's, I think, 78. It's amazing what is going on in society today. But
Yeah.
because of the speed of everything, our
Mhm.
brains are so like primordial, it's
Yeah.
hard for us. It's overwhelming for us to keep up with the change and the rapidness of
Mhm.
the world. But if we're able to think creatively and train our minds to think less analytically and more
Mm.
creatively, we're able to then deal with the changes just like our ancestors were able to deal with changes
Mhm.
in their lives as well.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And just when you're speaking, I'm just going to just throw in another question. Just
Okay.
like you talked about, like things are moving so fast. Like I have like probably a naturally like a logistics analytical brain, which I kind of worked in quite a lot until I switched and started up this business. But then
Yeah.
I do feel that sometimes, like my own smartphone, I feel like it can sometimes take away my creativity. I don't know if it's just me or if anyone else thinks that. What are your thoughts about like kind of a heavy reliance on technology and less on my own kind of creative mind?
So you're on something very, very important. When we offload creativity to a device,
Hmm.
whether it's a computer or a phone, we are losing that sense of being able to solve that problem. What
Hmm.
ends up happening is these technology companies, and I've done a lot of research on it, the
Mm,
technology companies are so good at releasing like dopamine in our brain. It's the same chemical that gets released when we have chocolate or have sex
yeah.
or fall in love. It's the same thing. And
Hmm.
like we get that same feeling on a click. It's unbelievable,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so they prey on this human sort of
Mm,
need to feel comfortable. But
mm,
when we get comfortable and when we offload everything into an app or
yeah.
to, your computer, you don't become creative anymore. You don't
Mm,
have a development of your soft skills. You offloading everything. And when we
hmm.
offload everything, we sort of lose our way a little bit. So,
Yeah.
absolutely, technology can inhibit creativity. It's
Hmm.
how you use it. And instead of searching for tools constantly,
Yep.
maybe we need to start defining problems and then searching for the solutions, right? The
Yeah.
technology companies will tell us anything that we want to hear in
Hmm.
order for us to use that particular piece of technology or that app or
Yeah.
that phone. But the truth is, we don't really need all of that.
Yeah.
And for us to recognize that we don't need it and
Mm,
maybe look at a problem before running and searching for a
yeah.
solution can really help in our careers and our businesses and also in our lives.
Yeah, that's really, really helpful. Definitely, definitely. Yeah. And just moving on from like soft skills and using technology and can kind of affect our creativity. I wanted to kind of address like what our listeners are speaking and thinking about. Like, so how can women in business use the soft skills to speak more confidently? Because a lot of our listeners may be business owners, and some of them are multiple side hustle ladies during this lockdown time.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. What would you kind of suggest or advise to that woman who's sitting there thinking like, okay, I hear what you're saying about soft skills. How can I apply it, the application?
Yeah, so I think one of the things that we can all do today to get a bit better at applying our
Hmm.
soft skills is looking at some of our little victories and celebrating them, right? We're so
Yeah.
busy running forward
Yeah.
and trying to achieve our 1 year goal or our 3 year
Yeah.
or this or that goal. We're
Hmm.
not paying attention to the little breadcrumbs that happen along the way. Now,
Yeah.
some people tell me, Nir, there are no breadcrumbs. Like, there's no little victories, but I think that we're not looking hard enough, if we're not looking at those little victories.
Mhm.
Those little things will enable that voice that you have inside you to come out, because you will have built confidence on what has been working. And so, looking at those little things that have been working will really, really help. It's an issue of, okay, you set your goals and everything. And let's say, I don't know, you've got a business that does, I don't know, you're an ice cream machine salesperson, let's just say, right?
Yeah.
And you spend all this time with the analytics and you want to sell a bunch of ice cream machines, but you need to look at what is happening or who is buying or what people are doing with those machines that can enable you to put small victories together, find your voice, and go in that direction. So there actually was a story a while ago about an ice cream machine salesman who wanted to sell a bunch of machines, and like every analytical thing, it worked for a while, but then it stopped working. And so he noticed there was a restaurant that was buying a lot of ice cream machines. I don't know why I'm talking about ice cream. Maybe I'm hungry. But anyway, it's kind of like, and so he decided to go to this restaurant and check it out. Like, why would they be buying machines and other people not? That's a creative thing. It's not an analytical thing. So he went, the line was out the doors. 45 minutes later, he had the best cheeseburger he's ever had in his life, right?
Wow.
And the guy's name was Ray Kroc, and the restaurant was McDonald's. So if you are just laser focused on hitting goals, you're not going to discover that voice, those soft skills that will let you be heard and seen and represented in like an awesome and effective way. So what I suggest is that your listeners take those little victories. I don't know. I don't know what business they're in. I don't know what particular industry that they're working in, manufacturing, medicine. It doesn't matter. But those little goals on the way to your big victory might change the big victory a little bit. And that's a really good thing, because it will allow you to express those soft skills, that creativity and that approach in a way that is as unique as you are. No two people ever practice creativity the same way. It is in our DNA. It is who we are. And the way that you do it is going to be different than the way that I do it. The way that, another person's going to do it's going to be different than another person. It is our brand identity. And the more we can embrace that, the better we'll do.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's fun.
Wow. Yeah.
Isn't it wild?
Definitely. Yeah, I love that. Definitely, like, celebrate the little victories, because sometimes you're like, okay, this month my hit goal is this much sales and all this thing, and you kind of miss the bigger picture because you think, yeah, I'm doing all these little things so I get to that big goal. But I really, really do love, like, celebrate them on the go. Really,
Yes.
really good.
Yes. And listen to what they're telling you. There's meaning there that is incredibly important. And that meaning just might take you on a slightly unexpected path. But that unexpected path is creativity.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. Like, the road of creativity. Sounds really, really interesting. Definitely. And I wanted to talk about your book, but before we get there, I just want to know if there's anything else that you could just kind of share before we get into, like, the book of, like, why you wrote it, who's it for, what do we learn, and things like that.
Yeah, another thing so the book is full of tricks and tools that you can use every day to get more creative, to get more of your soft skills developed. And one of them that I really like is the self-doubt monster. And I talk in my book about how to fight the self-doubt monster. It's that, monster that keeps you from becoming the real you, right? And who you need to be. Now, the really cool thing is that once you can be your authentic self, the marketplace tends to really react to authenticity, and orders start to come in, buyers start to line up, so on and so forth. People want, especially today with everything going on in the world, people want an authentic experience with a brand. And sometimes that brand is going to be you. Sometimes that brand is your career. You don't even have to be a business owner. You just have to be somebody in a career path trying to get to that next level. That brand is who you are. And having that is really important. Now, fighting the self-doubt monster allows creativity to come out. And creativity, a lot of times, comes out in your gut instinct. It's that little voice telling you what you need to do. We all have it, Leighanne, and we all don't listen to it. I'm the worst at this, right? I'm like the worst. I'm supposed to be like, really good at it, but I'm the worst. You're supposed to listen to that voice, and that voice will tell you what it is that you need to do. But so oftentimes we just squash it down. We're like, oh, this isn't serious.
Yeah.
I'm an analytical person. I need to make these numbers. I need to get to this
Yeah.
place. But
Yeah.
that little voice telling you, you know what, maybe you should try this, or maybe you should try that, is really important. So one thing that I like for people to do, and your listeners can do it right now, is to grab a pen and a piece of paper
Yeah.
and start to write stuff down. When you write ideas down, it changes a chemical reaction in your brain that allows you to lose that sense of self-doubt. Write stuff down, circle it, and keep writing. Even if it's gibberish, even if it's not important, even if whatever, you write stuff down and self-doubt starts to melt away. It's a really incredible thing. I do it all the time. I'm constantly writing different things down to get creativity out and to lessen that grip of self-doubt, which
Wow.
attacks at any moment it can.
Wow. I love the title, just self-doubt monster. Like,
Yeah,
that is incredible. And
the monster.
the monster, it definitely is. Like, and then to just think, like, to really divert those like negative thoughts, like writing down stuff, keep on scrolling. And that's incredible. That's a really, like, I like that way of like trying to manage it and silence it, definitely in a way. And that's so the self-doubt monster, you cover it in your book.
Yeah, it's covered in the book. The
Nice.
book is called The Creator Mindset. It's
Yay.
92 tools to unlock the secrets of innovation, growth, and sustainability. It's a McGraw Hill business release. Very excited. The book is doing really great. I would
Yeah.
love for your listeners to pick up a copy if they're interested and, explore this with me. A lot of the book is about doing. So if your listeners are like, looking for a get rich quick scheme, or like, oh, invest in real estate and be a millionaire by next Wednesday, that's fantastic. Don't buy my book. It's not about that. My book's about you pick up a pen and you do work and you keep building and building and building until you're able to solve incredibly complex problems creatively, and therein by improve profit and increase revenue in your business and your product or service, and use amazingly different tools to do so. Soft skills and empathy and the ability to connect with a consumer authentically with your brand, so on and so forth. So that's what the book's all about, and I would love to hear from your listeners what they think.
Yeah, it sounds incredible. It sounds like a walk of saying, like, just be real, don't like be fake and stuff, and really connect with like
It's amazing.
human to human and stuff, because life has become so like kind of fake with like the Instagram this or likes that and all of that stuff. And it just really sounds like just going back to the basics,
Yes. Yeah, it really is. And Leighanne, the economy has completely changed. The thing that we learned in business school or in college or whatever at the university is completely changed. The economy is no longer, I have a product or service A and I find a buyer B and my service goes to them and they pay me. That doesn't work anymore. Sometimes, your product or service needs to go to J. J needs to, go to, L. That comes around to P, and then P goes back to B, and then A connects. And being able to understand the reality of our new world economy and how things are not linearly connected anymore like they were in 1950, understanding that is incredibly important and is a creative approach. It is an approach that relies on soft skills. It relies on a different modality of thinking. And when you're able to embrace the principles of creativity, especially positivity, when you're able to be positive and think about those sort of old school skills like you're talking about, then you can make sort of headway with the sort of new way of doing business.
Wow, I really like it. It just brings it back to like be a human, like just be a human. It sounds so easy, but it's like over the years it's just been like kind of avoid, you just become like a face on a screen, or just I really love it. Like, really, just these 92 tools sound amazing. I can't wait to kind of
Thank you.
read it. Are there like exercises and stuff in the book, because you said it's like a more sort of a doing book?
Totally. You can write in the margin. There's like box sections that say,
nice.
oh, write in the margin, do this technique, do this exercise, so on and so forth. So, and yeah, I mean, I got a review on Amazon like last week, and the person was saying, oh, like this book is all about like, oh yeah, I should have known that, or
Yeah.
oh, why didn't I do that? It's like almost obvious. I don't know, to some degree, but Leighanne, today, like being obvious and common sense, it's not that common anymore.
No.
So it's almost like a reminder that you have amazing gifts that we've inherited from, the Almighty, that
Yeah.
everybody can use to become really, really, really successful at
Yeah.
work and really successful in our business. We just have to
Mhm.
remember how to use the equipment that we have, the wonderful brain that we have, in order to
Yeah.
solve problems and to excel.
Definitely. That sounds amazing. Like really using like your natural kind of skills and talent and stuff that you've got. Maybe it needs nurturing or refining, definitely, and use them like effectively to kind of make you, excel or thrive through life. I definitely hear you kind of
Who else
saying
are you
that.
going to rely on but you, right? And you have
Exactly.
everything you need. It's just ready to go. You just
Yeah.
need to like revision a couple of things and readjust a couple of things and
Hmm.
shift your perspective a little bit. Start to become positive about problem
Hmm.
solving and positive about issues. And when you're able to do that, your brain automatically comes up with ideas. Why?
Yeah.
Because you're activating like a survival circuit,
Yeah.
and that survival circuit today will not only keep you alive, but it will make you thrive. So
Mm.
I think it's really an amazing technique, and I'm very, very excited. It's my mission to get it out into the world, to excite people to understand that you
Mhm.
have everything you need right now to be able to
Yeah.
be incredibly creative and to make your mark on the world, whether you're in business for yourself or
Mm.
working, somewhere else, trying to get ahead, trying to get promoted. And we
Yeah.
have all those skills that are ready to go. You just got to use them.
Wow, that sounds incredible. We've already got the skills. We just need to use them.
Yeah. And they
So
cost
simple.
nothing. Isn't that cool? Zero cost.
Yeah.
But you got to do the hard work. There's no
Yep.
get rich quick. You got to do the hard work.
Got to, definitely. Wow, that's been so incredible. Like we've just looked at so many things. Like I kind of thought, okay, soft skills, I've got an idea about that. But your stance on it and how you refocus the it's a topic that's like in your face, but it's like it's hidden in plain sight. Soft skills. It's like we all have them, but do we use them? Do we know how to improve them? Yes, no. But like your book sounds like it really walks us through it, how to really improve and stuff like that. And
Yes.
I really like that you said for women in business or side hustles, like to really celebrate the little victories, and then when you do get to that final big goal or amount that they want to achieve each month, it's like you've celebrated all the way through. So the whole path and journey is a celebration.
Yep.
And I love your stance on that self-doubt monster, just to really silence that monster by rewriting some notes, creativity, and that will divert those negative thoughts because sometimes they can be very strong. Everybody has them. But writing them out, it's like, or writing them away, in a kind of a way to explain it. That was a really, really good idea. And just, I'm really excited about everyone kind of getting the book, having a look, and just really being open to creativity because sometimes sadly you can be trained in a school university like, no, I'm a pharmacist, I'm a lawyer, and these are often more commonly known as like, logistical analytical backgrounds. But
Hmm.
you'll find many accountants who are doing cakes and they can sew and they can do all these other kind of seen as creative things. And just to be open that you've got both sides of the brain, the logistics and the creative side, because it is quite fearful to kind of embrace it like, no, 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 my training is this, how
Yeah.
can I.
Yeah, definitely. And the more that and I'm not saying throw away those things. I'm saying to
Mm,
combine them. We
yeah.
have gotten so good at one way of thinking about things
Mm,
that we've stopped thinking with our full potential. And when we
yeah.
stop thinking with our full potential, we're always stuck wondering why we're not getting to the next level, wondering
Yeah.
why we're not getting where we need to go.
Yeah.
But the secret is that there's not really a secret. It's
Mm,
just about remembering who we were as children because we're super
yes.
creative as kids. Like my son's 3.5, right? We buy him a toy or whatever on
Yeah.
Amazon. It comes the box, right? He opens the box, he
Yeah.
picks up the toy, he takes out the toy and plays with the box, right? And like for hours. And like, I look at the box, I'm like, oh, I got to recycle it. The guy's coming
Yeah.
on Tuesday next week. I got to fold it down. And what happened to us, Leighanne? Like, what
Yeah.
happened to us? And
Yep.
so you have a lawyer or a pharmacist or whatever going through, her
Mhm.
career, and she's analytical and,
Yeah.
spreadsheet logic and quarterly loss and,
Mhm.
third quarter reports and all this. But what about
Yeah.
all the human stuff? What about all the soft skills? What about
Yeah.
all of the incredible things that you uncover when you look beyond the numbers?
Mm.
It's amazing. Like, I'm a consultant, and I speak and do webinars and
Yeah.
keynotes. A lot of people who invite me to speak on a regular basis are financial people,
Wow.
because they understand, that finances don't tell you the full story. They don't tell
Mhm.
you the full picture. And unless we're
Yeah.
activating a different part of our mind when we're looking at a legal case, or we're trying to
Mm.
find precedents and stuff like that, if we just stick to analytics, we're
Mhm.
missing out on the power that our brain has to solve problems. So I'm very excited about getting the word out so that people can start becoming more creative.
Yeah, definitely. And just becoming more creative, just becoming more whole. Because I like that you explained, like, it's not just this part, it's also being a whole, a kind of whole
Balance.
human. Yeah, balance and stuff.
Isn't that
Definitely.
amazing?
So,
It's all about like balance. And if we
yeah.
we become happier, if we learn how to like
Mm,
balance things better. I mean, everybody
mm,
knows that from life. So why
mm.
can't we do that with our approach to our businesses or our careers? We can. It just
Yeah.
takes a shift in perspective, and it takes a little bit of work to do it.
Definitely, definitely does. Wow, I've really enjoyed speaking to you today. I've learned so much, and I feel I've just kind of touched the tip of the iceberg. There's just so much that you can share, and the book sounds like it's got huge amounts to really teach me and everybody else. Like, is there anything that you're working on in this next few months or year that you think our listeners would be interested in? And also, then how can people stay in touch with you as well?
Yeah, so I'm working on another book.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. That won't be out for a while. This one took me
Okay.
6 years.
Wow.
6 years. Yeah, because it's nights and weekend. It's
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
changing poopy diapers. Like, I got a paragraph that I'm like,
Yeah.
yes. It's like there's no shortcut to this stuff in life. You just got to find 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. You got to get
Mm,
creative
yeah.
about time management, and
Yes.
people think that writing a book is like you get a cabin somewhere and you sip scotch and like it's all romantic. It's not. It's 5 minutes in the morning before the kids wake up. It's
Mhm.
15 minutes on the way to work. Oh, I'm at work early, pull the car over, get the laptop out. You
Yeah.
have 15 minutes. Why not use it? I mean, it's
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it takes a really long time to achieve a goal. It just takes a lot of hard work, and that's
Mhm.
an okay thing, and it's
Yeah.
worthwhile. But yeah, so I'm working on another book, and I'm doing a lot of webinars with different companies and
Mhm.
stuff. That's really exciting. Um, and yeah, I got your listeners can find me online. It's Nir
Mhm.
Bashan, Nirbashan. There's only 3 Nir Bashans in the entire world, so I'm really easy to
Wow.
find. Um, and I have a community on my website where
Mm.
people can sign up. It's free, and you can ask questions and share creativity. We have
Mhm.
C-level people to students on there, and you
Wow.
get really interesting information and share creativity on there. And yeah, I'd love to hear from your listeners.
Wow, sounds so incredible. You've shared so many gems, and I'm sure there's loads more things that you can share with us. But I'm going to put your information, your contact details into the show notes so that everyone can get
Cool.
hold of you as well. It's just been such a pleasure to have you on. I've learned so much, and I hope my listeners have too. Thank you so much, Nia, for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Leanne. Thank you for having me. This has been really wonderful.
Thank you.